Yeah, I think we'll get started. Numbers aren't, I think, stabilised a bit. So welcome everyone. Thank you very much for coming along to this session on how to review for the International System Dynamics Conference. My name is Susan Howick and I'm one of the programme chairs for the conference in this upcoming August. And along with Hazhir Rahmandad, who's on the call as well. And the third conference chair is Mohammad Jalali. Mohammad can't be with us today because he's on paternity leave. So I'm sure he'll catch up with us all soon. So welcome everyone, and thank you. I think I'm starting off with a massive thank you for putting yourself forward as a reviewer for the conference. The conference very much relies on people like yourself to go through the submitted work and provide good reviews. So it really helps us with our job of creating a fantastic conference for everyone to have in August. So a big thank you to start off with the role you're playing in the conference. So what are we going to do today? Well, the main focus today was really to see if you have any questions or queries about the review process. Now, you should have been sent some slides that myself, Hazhir, and MJ put together about how to review for the conference. What I suggest is I go through them quite quickly, because hopefully you've already gone through them yourself anyway, but just to pick up on the key points. And as we go along, please feel free to put your hand up, butt in, ask questions. Christine Tang, who's with us, is the fantastic Christine who supports Hazhir, MJ, and myself throughout the programme chair process. So Christine's doing all the great support and administration for us. So I'm sure, Christine, you'll keep an eye on, sorry, official title, Conference Programme Assistant. Thank you, Christine. I'm sure Christine will keep an eye on if anybody puts their hands up or have any questions. So if I don't spot you, because I'm sharing my screen, then I'm sure Christine Hazhir will. So what I suggest is I go through the slides relatively quickly, because hopefully you're going to look at them. But feel free to stop me at any point, or we can have discussion at the end. So any questions or comments or queries before we get started? No? Good. Okay, so I'm going to try and share my screen. Does that look good to everybody? Yeah, great, good. Okay, so let's see if this works. Oh, too fast. So right at the beginning of the slide deck, there was just an overall summary about what this is all about. So again, a big thank you to you all. Make sure you set your review preferences, and we'll go over that in detail on a further slide. And it was just a high-level summary of the review that we're looking for from you all when you're reviewing a paper, about the typical type of length of reviews, that they should be summarising the contribution, ensuring, just like if you're reviewing for any journal article as well, ensuring you discuss what's good, what might be missing, how you can help support the author to make improvements. So we'll go through this more detail. That was a one slide summary of the key points, but we'll go into each of these in more detail. So that's an overview of what's in the slide pack. So I'll be going through each of these. So firstly, why review? Well, we're all part of the same academic community, and in academic community we want to support each other in developing our work. We work together, then we're all going to push our work forward at a quicker pace. So giving feedback to each other is a key part of that, of being an academic. So but also with practitioners as well, we want to learn from each other, learn what each other is doing, so that theory and practice together really helps us push the field forward. So it's an important part, is giving feedback to each other. Increasing awareness of work, so it's both by being a reviewer, you find out about other people's work, but also in the review process, you can let them know about other work that might be appropriate and relevant to the work they're carrying out. But of course, a key aspect here is supporting the programme placement. As I mentioned at the beginning, you're playing a really key role here with developing a good, high quality conference. With your reviews, myself, Hazhir, and MJ can take these reviews and use them in helping us understand where different papers should be. So what are the ones that are really, really high quality that should be considered for plenary sessions, which will be good for parallel sessions, and which may be more suited to posters and such like. So your reviews really help us with that placement and create a fantastic conference for everyone. So the next couple of slides are all about choosing your review process preferences. So I suppose one of the first questions is, have you been able to log into the system and do your preferences? Yep, we've got some nods there. I'm just looking down. Everybody's got their cameras on, so I'm not so sure. We've had one nod there. So hopefully you've had a chance to go into the system, and this is where you can choose your reviewing preferences. So this is just a screenshot. You can go back to the slide obviously later and check that you're doing the right thing when you go into the system. And when you do, then there's a number of questions asked. You can choose the maximum number of submissions you wish to review. So you might say, well, I've got loads of time in my hands. I'll do 20 different reviews because I love this job. You might say, well, my diary's packed. I can only fit in 3 or 4. So it's up to you to decide what's best for you. It also asks about the types of submission formats you'll interview. Now, there's 3 types of submission formats that people can put in: a research paper, a practitioner application, and a work in progress. So obviously you may say, well, I'm a practitioner, I'd rather review practitioner work, or I'm an academic, I'm happy to do all 3, or whatever your preferences are. So let us know. And then there's the areas as well. Based on your own expertise and experience, which are the areas that you feel most comfortable reviewing for? So hopefully you've all had a chance to do it. If not, again, this slide pack is available for you, and you can go back at a later date and check that you're doing everything okay. So the review process itself, well, at the moment, we've got papers being submitted. The portal opened up on the 16th of January for papers, and it will close quite soon in 11 days' time on March the 19th. So we've been receiving papers all the way through that since it opened on January 16th. Once you've put your preferences in, then you'll start getting papers sent to you. You may not have had many sent to you so far, because we tend to find that people tend to wait to almost the last minute to submit papers. So we expect in the next few days to get quite a big a rush of papers there. And they'll be sent out to you, and we ask that you do your review within 2 weeks. And then once you send your comments back to the authors, they can respond at a later date, and you are able to see that in the portal, just to close that loop for yourself and the whole process. So what do you have to actually do? So as I mentioned, there's 3 different types of papers that can be submitted: a research paper, practitioner application, and a work in progress. So these are suggested word lengths, about 500 words for research paper and about 250 words for the other 2 categories. So I think the key thing to think here is, if you had been the author who submitted this paper, what would you want to receive in return? So, writing one line saying, yeah, this is good work, not going to be that helpful to an author. So put yourself in their shoes and think about, what would I like to get in back from a reviewer? So try to summarize the contribution, and really think about telling them, well, this part was excellent, this is really good, I think it's really interesting stuff. This part here, whilst it had benefits, there's ways in which you can improve it, and I would suggest you doing X, Y, or Z. So really think about what you'd like to receive as a review yourself. Now all that narrative will be sent directly to the authors. So think again about them receiving that review and how it should be framed. However, after you've done your narrative, you'll also be asked some questions. Now, this isn't shown to the authors, but it just gives us as a programme committee a bit more information about the strengths and weaknesses of the paper. So it helps us, again, in our job of trying to place and find out the most high quality papers for certain sessions. And there is a third element. This is completely optional. It's if you want to send some narrative just to ourselves as programme committee. For instance, you might say, this is the best paper I've ever read and it has to be a plenary. That might be a comment you might want to send to us, then please do so. So it's optional. It's only if you have particular comments you want to make directly to us, and that won't be shown to the authors. So what's a good review look like? So one point to make is that the theme of the conference this year is bridging perspectives for new insights. So what we're trying to do with that theme is reach out to neighbouring communities. So please bear that in mind when you're doing your reviews. It may not be just the standard notations that you're used to that are coming through in papers. We're obviously all here because we're interested in system dynamics. So what we're asking reviewers to do is think just slightly more broadly about what system dynamics means. It's just, as it was stated here, it's distinguished with feedback perspective, long-term accumulations, and behavioralistic views of actors. So these are the elements that are key to a system dynamics perspective, but you may see different, if people from other fields who think the same way but may use slightly different terminology or visuals to use it, then that's okay. But obviously, if you're unsure at all, you could put a comment to the programme committee in that third box. If you say, well, I've done the review in this way, but I'm not too sure if this is what is most fitted for the conference, for example, please feel free to give us these comments. But overall, as I sort of previously mentioned, it's about helping us differentiate. So if you've got 4 papers to review and you just say, yeah, this is good for all 4, it's not going to help us much in being able to place and find the best quality ones. So try to differentiate and be helpful and be constructive, so that it helps us in the job of placing papers in the best place in the conference and creating that great conference that we all want. So I'm not going to go through detail in the last few slides because I'll let you look over them in your own time. These were just some examples of what's been categorized as helpful and maybe less helpful reviews. So for instance, there's 4 areas been highlighted in the next few examples about narrative that's been used to help motivate the author, summarize the paper, making suggestions, and pointing towards additional resources. So I'll let you go through them as just examples of how that's been done in the past. And in addition, some slides at the end about where, maybe less helpful reviews are ones that give no specific feedback, or ones that maybe actually attacking the author. So think carefully about how you're speaking to the author and giving their feedback, and maybe using more negative language rather than encouraging and motivating. So that's really the slides in a quick high-level overview. So I will stop sharing. I can get onto my here so we can all see each other. So really, it's about finding out how people are going, if they have be able to log into the system, if they've got any issues, please let us know. If you've got any questions or comments and anything's been covered, please let us know. It's about us sort of helping each other through this process. So really over to you. Any questions or comments anybody wants to raise? It's all clear. No, all quiet.
I have
proceed. Yeah.
Sorry, I put this in the chat. So sometimes people accidentally forget to upload their supplementary material. And if that happens, please email conference at. I'm the one who usually checks it, and don't submit your review because you can't change it afterward.
Hazhir, I don't know if you want to add anything from what we've covered so far. No, all good?
Yep.
Good, okay. So, well, if we've got no questions, then as I mentioned, Christina, everybody should have a copy of the slide deck, shouldn't they? Yeah, good. Okay, so if there's no questions, then thank you, everybody, for coming along today. If you think of any questions afterwards, please feel free to reach out to us and email us and contact us, and we'll try and help best we can. But really, it's about supporting you through this activity. So thank you once again for your help and your role in creating a great conference. And I think we'll finish it off there unless anybody has anything you want to finish off with. Yeah.
Susan, can you hear me? I just have a quick question. Sorry, I joined a little bit late, so I missed probably half of the presentation that you did. So I understand for this year, some of the conference abstract will be publicly available. So are we evaluating or providing the reviews basing on the standard of the public available version, or it's more of like work in progress type of reviews that we typically do in the past? I don't know if my question is clear.
I'm not clear what you mean by work in progress. Oh, okay. So we have a work in progress category.
Yeah.
So there's three different. Sorry, Christine, you try and put your hand up. Do you want to go first?
Yes, I suspect Coco might be talking about the fact that we've been talking about there's ISBN, and then there might be publicly available paper, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so on that front, you don't need to worry right now because we are not making anything public until way after the conference, and only for the papers that the authors ask for it to be included in the public proceedings. So at the time of review, nothing is available online. It is just the same as the previous years. Everything is only in the system. And then later on in July, August, the authors will have the option to keep their papers in the published proceedings or not included in the published proceedings. And that's an author choice, not relevant to the review process as far as.
Yes, I think that deadline is actually in September.
Yeah, so
yeah.
Okay, super. Thank you.
Okay. Anything else before we finish off?
Yes, Susan, just a quick question. So if I receive a paper to review, but then I found out that it's not really related to my field, is there any? There is no option to decline the reviewing of the paper, is it?
You have.
You go on, Christine.
Yes, you can email conference at, and we can go remove you in the back end. But please try. It's okay. If it's not in the application area that you're familiar with, just look at the system dynamics.
Okay.
That
just was general question. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, and there'll be other people reviewing too for content. So please try if you can.
Okay, thank you, everyone. And great to see you all today then. And thank you all for your whole hard work. And hopefully I'll see many of you in Bergen. Hopefully you can all make it as well. Love to see you face to face.
Yeah, thanks so much.
Thanks for your time today. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.